Terrifies your haters. I am back. We tried to start this live the first time, and for some reason it wasn't working, but now I am back. The subject at hand, because I'm not really going to look at the comments, I want to stay on topic. They cannot break you, and that terrifies your haters. When people are jealous of you, when people are envious of you, when they don't like you, when they desire to distract you, and they want you to stop what you're doing, they will do anything to get in the way of what you're doing. See, people who know they can't break you, that doesn't mean they won't try. That doesn't mean they won't try to get in the way of what you're doing. But when you're unbreakable, when people see that you're not easily distracted, then suddenly that's when those little pinpricks come. I'm going to get into that in more detail because ever since I started this YouTube channel and ever since I started, even my business earlier on when I started my shop, you have to expect if you're going to be a woman who's going to accomplish things and do things meaningful in life, you're going to have people that are going to try to break you. And there's going to be people who want you to doubt yourself, to doubt your confidence. They don't want you to feel good about yourself. They want you to think, okay, I'm not cute enough to be on camera. I'm not cute enough to be doing this. Look, I just had a comment from somebody, and, bear in mind, I don't care about this, but it did kind of encourage me to make this content. And people don't understand. People who actually feel like they can break you in some way or they're trying to break you, all they do is feed your creativity. A woman who is feminine, creative, has wisdom, she will take the negatives that people throw at her and turn it around for a positive. I have done that so many times in my life where people try to break me and they did nothing but give me ammunition. So women who are confident, who are resilient, who understand and know exactly who they are not easily shaken or triggered by people who try to break them. People will actually get upset with you and irritated with you simply because you don't allow them to break you. See, women who are unbreakable, we don't really care too much, and we know about feelings and emotions. We are feminine women, so we have feelings, we have emotions, but there's a different type of woman who knows when it's time to be in your feelings and when it's time to focus. And people who don't understand that, they will try to break you with their negativity, with their distractions, with their little things they do and say. But because you are a woman who's unbreakable, you know how to separate feelings from your agenda, from the things that you have to get done, from the things that you know you want to accomplish in your life. There are some people who are so caught up in their feelings and their emotions, that's why they come for you. See, when people are jealous of you, when people are envious of you, when people see the impact that you're making, that's the time they come along to try to discourage and distract you. If you weren't doing anything meaningful, people would not be coming for you. And as women, as leveled up, confident women, and many people have a very distorted understanding of what leveling up means. As I said in the previous video I just did, a lot of people think leveling up means you go to the beauty supply store and get a whole bunch of bundles and makeup and all that, and that's the totality of your level up. And that is not. Now, just to make it clear, I am not opposed to makeup, to hair extensions, to all of those things, to nails. I have all of that. But that is not the totality of leveling up. And when women, and especially women of today, they have a very superficial, shallow understanding of what it is to be a woman, what it is to level up, and what it is to actually be a confident woman. It's deeper than just what you look like. And people who see you making an influence that is outside of the scope of just Maybelline and CoverGirl, it's outside of the scope of Sephora and Ulta, but you're actually doing something meaningful on a deeper level. When they see you operating that way, they will come along to try to break you. And when they don't get you shaking in your boots, because that's literally what people want. If you've ever been the type of woman who's, well-rounded and you always have some kind of goal in mind, you're always doing something to elevate and level yourself up, You're always doing things to make sure that you and the people around you are good. You're always trying to do things that, make yourself better in some way. When you operate that way, I guarantee you, you're going to have people around you that are going to try to break you. I've even seen mothers try to do this to their daughters. Jealousy and envy, that is one very toxic and crazy type of spirit. It'll have people going out of their mind over somebody who's supposed to be close to them. You have people who will suddenly turn on you all because you are doing better than them, or they perceive you as doing better than them. A little bit of a sidebar. I saw a woman on TikTok. She took it, and this is what jealousy does. This is what jealousy, and this is what toxicity, and this is what happens when people are threatened by your true level up. These are the things they kind of do. So, this woman, mind you, this is her own daughter. She went out of her way to humiliate her daughter on TikTok by letting people know that she was not going to the prom. And it didn't seem like the daughter did anything wrong. It just seems like the mother was very bitter, very miserable, very angry, and she took it upon herself. And this is the modern woman thing to do, I guess, where mothers get online or people get online and air out all their business. But she got on TikTok and said, yeah, my daughter's not going to the prom. She was proud to say that. And in my opinion, it just seemed like she was very bitter and miserable for some reason, a little bit of jealousy. And some people say, well, how can a mother be jealous of their own daughter? Easy. When the daughter represents everything that she is not, when the daughter seems to be conducting herself in a more civilized way, when she's getting more attention and people are more drawn to her than they are to the mother, absolutely a mother can be jealous of her own daughter. I woke up so hard this morning. She could absolutely be jealous of her own daughter. Why would a mother take the time to go online and humiliate her own daughter about not going to the prom? The prom is something that a lot of young girls and boys too, they look forward to that. I have 2 kids that are going to be going to the prom next month. And that's not something that you get online and say that you brag about. Because to me, number one, maybe she didn't have the money to send her daughter to prom, which things happen, they give away dresses, all of that. But it didn't really seem like it was about that. It seems like she wanted to just humble her daughter. And while this is not exclusively about mothers and daughters, this is about jealousy and how people try to break you. And anytime you are doing something good, anytime you even represent something good, there will be people, even your own family, even your own mother, who will try to come along and break you. I could tell that she was trying to break this girl's spirit by saying over and over again how she was not going to the prom. As if it's like, hey, I showed you, like, bet you this, you won't be going to the prom. What kind of mother does that? What kind of person does that? Only a hater. And much like how this mother treated her daughter, how she wanted to humble her, you will have people in your life who will try to humble you. How do you handle coworkers who try to break you? It seems they don't want me to succeed. Well, the first thing when it comes to coworkers or when it comes to anybody who's trying to break you, you have to understand that your haters and jealous people, they don't want you to succeed. It's not in their nature to want people to succeed. So to expect anything different, that would be a slight on your part. It would be weird to expect a hater, somebody with a jealous, envious spirit, somebody who has a very negative for every positive thing that you do. It would be very odd to expect anything from them except for negativity. And see, the part that really gets them about you being unbreakable is that you don't care. That's the part that they don't like. It's the part that they can say things, they can do things, they can act certain ways, and you still keep going on. I guarantee you, and like I said before in the first live I started, I'm not worried about what that young lady said, but I guarantee you, I notice the hatred from evil looks they give me when I'm not looking. If you see the evil looks that they're giving you, you must have noticed it, and it's okay. Those kind of things, there's really nothing you can do about those kind of things. And I want you to understand this. The evil looks, the side conversations, the smart remarks, only women who are doing something worthwhile get those kind of things. it comes with the territory. You're going to have to get used to people having little side discussions about you, saying little smart remarks, giving little nasty looks, those kind of things. Because we live in a fallen world, the way I see it, those kind of things just happen. People just act that way. But when people see you making too much of an influence and you actually care about your life, you're actually doing things that you want to see other people be blessed and benefiting from, you have to expect that people are not going to want you to succeed. And it's not that you need validation from them. Number one, should threats from haters be taken seriously, or is it a bluff to get my reaction? It depends on the threat, Dolce. It depends on the threat. If it's physical harm, I would take that serious. If it's just little things here and there, you keep your eyes and your ears open. You don't want to be naive, but you don't want to be afraid either. See, when it comes to dealing with people who want to break you, we don't need their validation. And that's another reason why they take issue with you. Osman, welcome. Hello, sisters. Osman from Senegal, welcome. A wide doorway of opportunity always come with many adversaries. Absolutely. The more adversaries and haters you have coming for you, the better off you are doing. That's really the way I believe. Because nobody's going to talk about anybody who's doing nothing, So when you have people who are coming at you and they're trying to slow you down in some way, that right there shows you that you're on the right track. The enemy only comes for people who are on the right track. But like I was saying about not needing validation, that's the number one thing you have to keep in your mind. And when people are unbreakable, when you have that unbreakable kind of spirit where nothing they do or say can really stop you in your tracks, when you have that, you have the mindset that I don't need outside validation. I don't need somebody to tell me I'm beautiful to know that I'm beautiful. I don't need somebody to tell me I'm talented and that I'm skilled in order for me to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't need all of that. And when you are the kind of woman who operates that way, once again, unbreakable, you don't get triggered by your enemies. You don't get triggered by jealous people. You don't allow them to stop your plan and your motive for what you're doing. See, women who have not yet built their self-confidence and their self-esteem, a jealous woman can come along and say, I don't like your hair. Oh, why are you so loud? It seems like every time these people come around, you get loud. And you know what you'll start doing? You'll start adjusting your personality to fit your haters. You'll start adjusting the way you operate in order to fit the people who are criticizing you, not because they care, but because they are threatened by you. When you start adjusting your behavior, your mentality, and your personality because of your haters, you've already lost the battle. You are already backtracking and giving jealous people, giving toxic people exactly what they want from you, which is to stop. They want you to stop what you're doing. They want you to stop trying. You got some people who are even threatened by your potential. You haven't even started doing anything yet. But because you talk like a person with big goals and dreams, and you have so much faith that you believe you can do anything, even if you talk like that, you will have people who will come along and try to break you. There will be people who will look at you being so, sure of yourself and sure of your situation and what you can do, that they will come along and try to say little things to you to get you distracted. They will want you to think, people really don't like you. I heard and see people, like they say, very low vibrational people. Greetings, touch point for Christ Ministries, welcome. People who, as they say, are very low vibrational. I don't believe in all that. I believe the spirit can be toxic, but I digress. People who have that kind of low vibe about them, when they see other people are drawn to you, or they like you, or they like what you're doing, they will try to come along and say things like, well, I heard they really don't like you like that. I heard they're only doing this because of that. It's like they always want you to think there's some kind of ulterior reason for why people like you. I'm happy the live is back up. Yes, we're having really bad weather coming in. It's raining right now. So that's why we got disconnected the first time I tried to go live, but we are back now. But yes, you are not breakable. And there are some people, they can sense a woman who is not breakable, a woman who is not easily triggered or shaken off her game. When they recognize a woman like that, and you're not fazed by what they do and say, they just start seething. Like it's like they malfunction in some way. It's very weird. It's very weird. And a lot of women, unfortunately, have allowed people to get under their skin, so much so that they forfeited a lot of opportunities simply because they couldn't disregard their haters. And what I teach on this channel, I don't tell you things so that you can be fearful and worried about people. I tell you these things so that way you can move on anyhow. Some women have not yet developed that self-esteem and that confidence enough to see people for what they are and how they are. Thank you so much, Darian. Thank you. They don't see people for who and what they are and try how they try to come at them, and they let them stop them from doing what they're doing. And this can even be people in your own family. As I said before, earlier about the young lady and her mother, you know, for me as a mother, I want to see my kids progressing as far as they can. I want them to do better than me. Actually, I want my kids to be great. Like I want my kids. I want my daughter to be 10 times as better than me, you know? But when you have mothers who are jealous of their daughters, and I'm going to stay on this for a moment because this seems to be something you are giving advice and you can't keep a husband. Leroy Samuels, I'm not listening to nothing named Leroy. Next, you look beautiful. Thank you. That might have been mean. No disrespect to the Leroys that actually look cute, but I'm just imagining something that don't. That's weird. And any man who would come onto a channel called All Things Woman in the middle of the day, it is 11:20, sir. Like, what are you here? Why are you here? Shouldn't you be at work, building something, doing something productive? You're literally trolling a channel called All Things Woman. Feminine men are of the devil. I don't care how that sounds. That's exactly what it is. So Leroy, if you decide to stay here and get all this estrogen, brother, I don't know what's wrong with you. You may need mods at some point. These trolls are worrisome. Above Ruby's TV, welcome back, beautiful. Absolutely. And you are definitely, I hope you're open to it. You're definitely in the running to be one of my moderators because I see now that we're over 20,000 subscribers. That is absolutely wonderful. But I think that I know for a fact I'm going to need moderators because the trolls, it hasn't been a whole lot of trolls, but there are enough to get me a little bit sidetracked that I have to address them. I mean, really, a whole man. This is called All Things Woman. Yes, sassy men are so toxic. Absolutely. This channel is called All Things Woman, and he's on here talking about something like this is not even your area. Like, why are you here, sir? Go build something. Do something. That's the problem today, that you have a lot of men so into women's business. Like, for real, what are you doing? Go to work. Fix something. My goodness. Those are the men that's always talking about they want respect, but you come onto women's channel trying to come for a woman. Dan, oh, such a Nancy, a little dandy he is. My goodness. Got me all riled up. It's like, I don't care. I'm letting it loose today. Can I be a moderator? Leroy, sir, you're back. You want to be a moderator. You want to be a woman now, don't you? I feel like you want to be a woman. Come get all this estrogen. I'm going to let you stay here for a moment. I'm going to let you stay here for a moment and listen to all of this. Do they like Afghanistan? I'm from Afghanistan. This is a sign that the channel is doing absolutely fabulous, believe it or not. He's probably the husband that can't be kept because he's busy chasing women and trolling. Absolutely. I feel bad for his wife. God bless her if he's married. Lord Jesus. Anyway, they know you cannot be broken. Exactly. Attention-seeking, sassy men. For real, like, don't you have a brotherhood or something that they can affirm you, brother? Like, this is not for you. My goodness. More men. My gosh. I want to be a strong, bad A woman like you. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet of you to say. Distractions, goodbye. Absolutely. But yes, they can't break you. Back to the original point. With new levels comes new devils, as they say. And that is absolutely the truth. The more I grow on this channel, the more I start to see they're bored and lonely. Absolutely. I believe so. They're probably sitting in their mom's basement, twiddling their thumbs, trying to figure out what their next move is. It's okay. They'll be all right. I wish I knew all this information when I was in my 20s. Better late than never. And there's a lot of things that I had to learn, just by going through and observing. I didn't really have that kind of relationship with other women because my mother passed earlier on, as I've mentioned before. And I did have a stepmother, but the relationship was not that close. So, but back to the original subject at hand, and I was talking a little bit about jealous mothers. Jealous mothers being jealous of their daughters, Dusties, absolutely. That is something I definitely do not understand. I'm trying to go in no contact with my jealous mother, but she doesn't respect my boundaries. Now, I want to say something that I do not believe in just randomly cutting off your mother. I believe a mother and daughter bond in a relationship, that should be strong, that should be kept intact if you can. Like, I'll give you an example. Hi from Texas. I am Dashcam. Welcome. I saw a young lady on TikTok yesterday. Now, this is what I don't like. Now, if you have a grievance with your mother, take it to her directly first. Don't get on the internet, because right now we have some young ladies, they're doing things for likes and clicks on social media. They are destroying their relationships for social media's sake. Don't do that. Because from what I got, her mother, Touch Point for Christ Ministries, thank you. I appreciate you having a sisterhood that can see through the veils and pierce points of the world. Thank you so very much for that chat, and I appreciate you. Yes, I try to give out advice that is counterculture, things that people are not getting because it's very superficial and shallow from the worldly perspective, in my opinion. So I try to go opposite of that. But so thank you very much for that chat. But yes, this young lady, she got on TikTok and she told her, followers, she had her mother on speakerphone, breaking up their relationship, saying that, mom, you're just not getting where I'm coming from. You're not getting this, you're not getting that. And from what I got from it is that the mother actually financially supports her. So the mother is financially supporting her and taking care of her as a mother, even though the lady is grown. The mother is still being a hands-on mother with her. But because the daughter is kind of in her feelings, and I believe sometimes, and I know this might not be the popular thing to say, but I'm a mother, and I can't imagine losing a relationship with my daughter over something petty. But if the mother is being involved, she's financially supporting you. The way the mother was talking on the phone, she was being respectful to the daughter. So I really don't know what her grievance was. I think a lot of these young girls, and this is just the flip side before I get to how the mothers are jealous, I think some of these younger women, some of them are doing things for attention. When you need a lot of outside validation from social media, TikTok, all these places, you will destroy and wreck your relationships for the sake of a like. And we don't do that. As feminine, confident, leveled up, wise women, we don't do that. If your mother just is not your cup of tea, as you get older, your mom is probably not going to be the person you relate to the most, especially if you're 20 something, your mom is 50 something, she's not going to be the one that you're always so, have a lot of things in common with. However, that is not the place for you to go on TikTok and destroy and demean your mother. That's classless. Like, you don't do that. And that's with anybody. If you have an issue with someone, you confront them directly. Don't turn to the internet. Women don't do that. Leveled up, wise women, confident women, women with class, just don't do that. That's like me getting on the phone with my father, who just called me just now, put him on speakerphone in front of you all and air him out, as they say in Jersey. Air him out. Why would I do that? That's very classless. So ladies, we have to do better in that regard. When it comes to dealing with mothers who are jealous of how you are, that you might not even look like you came from the same family. Because I've seen a lot of women who are like that. I've seen a lot of mother-daughter relationships, a lot of family members who don't even look like they came from the same stock. And it's because of how they act. I stand behind the daughter's decision. I had to do the same with my mother. Nothing wrong with the decision, Queen Penna. Nothing wrong with the decision. It's the way she did it. So if she decided not to talk to her mother anymore, only she knows the inner workings of that relationship. It's the way she went about it. See, what's lacking today amongst many women is class and decorum. That phrase is thrown out so much, but many women have no idea what class and decorum is. The last thing you should do is get online to air out your mother, the one who you came out of her canal. You don't do that. That's not class or decorum. No matter what you have, the issues you have with her, do that in private. And a lot more women would save themselves from looking like clowns in public by doing things privately, because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. All of us, we deal with things in our own way. But there's a difference when you make a mistake behind closed doors. Nobody can come at you for it. Nobody can say you're a clown. Nobody can make you the laughing stock of the whole, social media platform. But when women deliberately get online and embarrass themselves, now you are opening yourself up to criticism and scrutiny. So I'm just saying, her decision to not have a relationship with her mother, she might have good reason, but there is no reason to put that grievance online. That's very classless. And I'm not going to say, in my opinion, it's classless. Confident, feminine women, leveled up women don't do things like that in public. But back to the original point, let's say your mother is a jealous hater, because there are some mothers who are like that. They see their daughters succeeding at such an early age. When they were their age, they might not have been able to accomplish many things. They might have had to work and do all this different stuff. And they have a daughter who seems to be superseding her. She has all of these different things early in life. She might be 25 with her own car, her own house, her own career. She's accomplishing everything that the mother couldn't because she had kids early, or what have you. There are some mothers who are so jealous and resentful, because when a mother is jealous and resentful towards her daughter, she will look at her daughter as if she's doing something wrong for succeeding. Now, I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but I can see why a mother would feel that way. It's not right, but I can see why a mother would feel that way. It's not right. And I think the mother-daughter bond is supposed to be so strong that when you see your daughter doing well, there should be some kind of pride in you. Like, you should be proud of that, not jealous. I know some people in my own personal life who their mother actually has a little bit of jealousy and animosity towards them. Every time they moved into a different home, the mother was kind of reluctant to come into the house because they just didn't want to be in that environment because it was a nice house compared to where they are. Yes, they see the daughter as competition. Absolutely. And it's sad enough that some women look at other women as competition. But when the woman is your own daughter, I don't understand how you can see her as competition. You have some women that they actually try to make a play for their daughter's husbands. I saw a TLC program, the medical network, where the daughter and the mother came over supposedly to help the daughter while she was pregnant and after she has the baby. But she actually took that as an opportunity to get closer to her son-in-law. So close that they were actually at one point sleeping in the same room. Anytime the son-in-law had an issue with the daughter, he would go into the mother-in-law's room and spend time with her. He actually stayed in the same room as her. And you see, mothers who are like that, who make a play for your husband, who don't feel like there's no boundaries being crossed, that's so weird. Like, I can't even imagine a mother doing that to her mini-me. You got to be very broken. Absolutely. Like, coming for your own daughter's husband. And the husband, he must be one of those sassy acting men without a backbone, because any man with a backbone would not allow his mother-in-law to come into any room where he is and spend the night there. So there's responsibility on all three sides, as a daughter. And sometimes, and this is where, and you have to respect your mother and father. Look, the way I believe it's written, respect your mother and father, honor your mother and father. But your mother and father have to be honorable. And they also have to have that not be provoking you either. And when they're provoking you to get out of character and to come at them like they're a stranger, those kind of things happen. This daughter very well could have put her mother in her place, but she didn't do that. And it's sad that she would even be in that position because she was pregnant. And that's where your husband comes in. But the husband, I saw the clip and it was so sad. Even if she hates you. What do you mean pretty in between? Exotical. Even if she hates you. Even if she hates you what? But yeah, the husband could have shut that down. The last thing the wife wanted to think about, she's pregnant. She was very pregnant, like 8 to 9 months pregnant. And the mother is doing all these things, inappropriate things, which further, and this takes me to my other point, a lot of women, and thank you to one of my subscribers. I don't have your name, but if you said that, let me know in the comments. She said a lot of women today are so spiritually bankrupt. And that is absolutely true. Spiritually, morally bankrupt, where they don't see any issue with some of the things they do. Even some of our mothers, who are supposed to be our elders, older women who are supposed to know better, they don't see any issue with making a play for your own daughter's husband. Or they don't see any issue with, I saw another clip. I'm over on TikTok a lot. I don't post too much over there, but I look at some of the videos, and there was a woman, they showed a clip of a woman who was going to buy a building. I don't know if she was going to make a gym or she was going to do something, but she told her mother about the fact that she wanted to purchase this gym. She wanted to purchase this space to create a gym. And do you know the mother went in and bought that space right underneath of the daughter? See, this is where you have to watch it. I don't know if this was a skit, but the principle is still there. Make sure, and this is another point, when you're dealing with people who want to break you, be mindful that you're not giving them the ammunition to use against you. Because I know that we want to just float around like butterflies thinking we can trust everybody. But you have to pick up on the signs of people who don't really like you, who are not really supporting you, and they only find you as their entertainment. Your content is so accurate. Thank you so very much, Touchpoint for Christ Ministries. You have to be mindful of that. And people who like to say talking like this is somehow paranoia, especially if you call yourself a believer, and my channel is not exclusively this is not a ministry, this is not a Christian channel, this is none of that. This is all things woman. But I am a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus, so some of that is going to overlap in what I talk about. But those of you who say you're followers of Jesus, and yet you say that, oh, don't worry about this, you being paranoid, it says to be wise as serpent and gentle as doves. You're not being wise when you act like certain things don't exist. So to try to use scripture to be naive, that is the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing as believers. I'm not going to dive deeper into that because I don't want to lapse into preaching. But ladies, being naive, being shallow, acting like things don't exist, that is not somehow a virtue. That's going to allow you to fall into the different traps that the devil actually has set up for you. And when you're an aware woman, a wise woman, you know how to tell when you're dealing with somebody. You know how to try the spirit of somebody to tell if you're dealing with somebody who means you no good. That's very important. So I don't like people trying to make it seem like, oh, you talk about these things, paranoia. Nobody's paranoid about anything. On this side of where I live, where I am on my daily basis, I don't care about any of these things. I don't worry about this stuff. These kind of things do not affect me. And you know why? It's because, number one, the way I believe, I'm so spiritually grounded that I don't have to worry about these things. And I try to pass this information along so that you all don't worry about these things. But the only way for you not to worry about it is to know that it's out there. And people who want you to be blind, confused, those are the people who are betting on you. The people who want to break you, they are betting on you being blind and confused and naive and acting like things don't exist. Oh, ain't nobody thinking about you. Ain't nobody. Okay, you keep thinking that way. And then when you find yourself in a trap, you're going to be like, oh, this is what she was talking about. Yeah, that's what she was talking about. But you said you're not worrying about that. It's not about worrying about it. It's about being aware. I know I'm being a little silly, but this is just a fact. Some women, they're too focused. You are absolutely right. Sunshine, the miracle therapist. Some women are so focused on their outer appearance and they neglect the things that are actually going to help them on the inside, like the character, their understanding, the wisdom, the discernment. Some women look so beautiful because they spend all their time in salons, lip injections, lip filters, eyelid filters, inner tubes in the backside, all these different things. And I'm not saying any of that stuff is wrong. I'm saying giving 1,000% attention to just your outer appearance and letting your inside suffer, that does not help you as a woman. That is not going to help you when you are up against things that your Maybelline and your CoverGirl and Sephora and Ulta can't fix. That's what I'm saying. Stick with those things. I love Ulta. I love Sephora. I go to those places often. But those things are not going to help you when people are coming at you and trying to stop you from succeeding in your life. the way I see it, you have to be spiritually grounded, number one, because the way I see it, and I'm not trying to push anything on anybody, but if you don't have God in your life, that's where it starts. The outside beautiful, but they heart dark and ugly. Absolutely. Absolutely. The heart is dark. You have some women, they have this coldness about them. They look beautiful, but on the inside, it's like you can tell just looking at the eyes sometimes, you can tell they're not there. And even the things they choose to go along with. You wonder why you get got by haters. It's because you're walking around thinking everybody is your friend and you take everything at face value. Like everything somebody tells you, anything a man tells you, you just believe it. Like, okay, he thinks I'm cute. He bought me a bag. That's basic. That's very basic. And touching on the topic of men. So when it comes to men and when it comes to how you interact with men as a woman, especially men that you're not interested in, okay? Sasha Fordham, how can I help my mother from a distance? My mother recently needed a place to stay, so I put her in a second home. I'm going to answer that question in a moment. But when it comes to dealing with men, when you're not interested in men, and this is a little bit of a sidebar from the jealous mother talk, because when you are a feminine woman, when you are a woman who's operating that soft energy, you tend to smile and be kind and all of that. But unfortunately, just like we saw with Sassy Leroy earlier, had to say it that way, Sassy Leroy earlier, some men, they see your smiling and they see your smiling and they see your softness. Feminine men, they see your smiling and your softness as a weakness. So when you're dealing with men, and this is another reason why you must have wisdom and discernment as a woman, not be so naive, because you can be soft when you interact with men, women alike. Yes, have soft energy, absolutely. But when you're in public, you're by yourself, and you're around men who are giving you like that look, as women, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I dealt with it the other day. Men that give you that look like they're about to try you. If you look a little bit too like you're like too inviting in that moment, that's kind of like men look at that softness as a weakness. Feminine men look at that softness as a weakness. So you have to take on, I know this is the opposite of what a lot of the girlies are teaching, but when you're dealing with men, and this is for your protection, so I need you to listen to this. Do not walk around, hi, how you doing? Not to Leroy and them. Don't do that. Not to Leroy and them. And I'm going to use Mr. Leroy for my example the entire time we're on here. When you're out in public and you see men that look a little threatening, because sometimes feminine men, they don't know how to come at women correctly. I actually had a man begging to me for change, and because I said no, he called me a expletive, okay? But I digress. You cannot be cheesing. That's not the time to show all your teeth to a man who looks very threatening and is coming at you aggressively. Don't cuss him out either. Now, some women, they get heavily in the masculine and start saying, what you looking at? Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Don't do all of that. Just keep a very stern tone. Just keep not a stern look. Keep a very stern look on your face. When you're dealing with men out in public and you're not interested in talking to that man and see he seems like he's persistent in talking to you, keep a very stern look. Don't say a whole lot. Don't go back and forth, because I had a man, Jezebel spirit in. Absolutely. I believe a man have a Jezebel spirit because it's not just about seduction and all of that. But yes, when you're in public and a man is being threatening to you and he's trying to talk to you and be persistent in talking to you even though you're not interested, let him talk, but keep that stern tone. And if you do respond to him in a very calm way. I had a man trying to come at me. Mind you, I am married. So he was talking to me. I'm sitting on the train. He's sitting in front of me. He's talking to me. I'm very irritated, but I kept my composure. I have a very stern face on. I said, well, I'm married. I appreciate you, but I'm married, so I'm going to cut this conversation short. All right? And I got up and went and sat somewhere else. I said, but thank you, because he was calling me pretty and saying all these different things. And I'm like, thank you. I said, I'm married, so I'm going to cut this conversation short. Okay? And got up and sat somewhere else with my face looking right at him so I can see what he's doing. And I cut it short, and that was the end of it. So, ladies, there is a way to shut down feminine men, men who are persistent in their pursuit of you, even though you're not into them. But don't start cussing and thinking you can go blow for blow with a man. Because even if you think you're very strong physically, men have strength that's a little bit stronger than us, physical strength, and you never want to put yourself in that situation if you can help it. You might not have started that situation, but you deal with a lot of creeps. So be very stern. Don't be out showing all your teeth when you're around men who are interested in you, but you're not interested in them. It sends mixed signals, and you don't want to have to go through all that aggravation. This is a little bit of like absolute realness here. Looking a little crazy in your demeanor when you're dealing with a man who doesn't like you, who likes you but you don't like him, that's absolutely necessary. I'm not saying you have to say anything. Don't cuss him out. Don't do any of that. Just look very stern, very militant when you're dealing with men that you don't want to deal with. A lot of them will get the hint. Resting bee face. Yes, I thank God for my resting bee face. I have learned how to not look that way all the time, but it's necessary. It's going to help you, especially if you're a woman who lives in the inner city and you have a lot of Leroys in them that constantly try to come at you. You can't, that feminine softness, you have that, but with the right people. And it's not something that you switch on and off. It's something that is only worth showing to people who can actually make you feel safe with it. But we have that assertiveness about us for a reason. And if you're dealing with a Leroy or a bozo that's trying to come at you and you're not into him, you can express your not interestedness in him, but do it in a way that's actually going to keep you safe too. Don't do all the rah-rah. Just have that stern look. Get comfortable being uncomfortable for a moment, because you might be uncomfortable just looking at a Leroy in the face with a stone look. But I guarantee you it's going to help you. It's helped me tremendously while you keep your hand in your pocket. All right? That's just a little bit of a sidebar. I'm telling you, it's just crazy. Some of the things that women have to deal with, men have no idea. Some of the things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. He makes sure to know, made us reference others. Who did you love and give up? Don't know what you're talking about. But yes, people try to break you in all different kinds of ways. Spiritually, mentally, physically. They're trying to get you. Anytime you're a woman of influence and impact, you're not just a woman who goes along to get along. People can't just tell you anything. And that's another thing. People are very triggered by a woman who doesn't accept anything they say. I am very much, and I know many of you probably are as well, women who are not like, you can tell me whatever you want and I just believe it. I'm a very much an action-based kind of woman. I don't go off of just what you say. I go off of what you do. Now, bear in mind, nobody's perfect, but when you're dealing with people who want to break you, they want you to believe everything they say, even if their actions do not match. Now, there's something to be said about a person who tells you a bunch of little things, a bunch of nothings, and does nothing in return. Actions speak louder than words. Love is action, okay? So somebody can tell you they love you all they want, but if they mistreat you, if they manipulate you, if they never support you, is that really love? No, it's not. And people who want to break you, they want you to believe that just because I don't show you doesn't mean I don't love you. Actually, it does mean that. If somebody doesn't show you that they love you, they don't love you. If their actions don't line up with their words, I'm not saying people are perfect. I'm not saying that. Some of us say things and break promises. We're not supposed to even make promises. But what I'm saying is that when you're dealing with people, let's say you have a friend and they say, yes, love is action. Simon Templar. Hello, Angel Mom. Love is action. So if you have a friend, if you have family, if you have a mother who says they support you, they love you, they want to see you do well, and the moment you start doing well, now they're acting funny. Now they don't want to be bothered with you. Now every time you turn around, they're trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. They're trying to get in the way. They're trying to persuade you that somehow you made a mistake doing the best you can for your life. You made a mistake going to school. You made a mistake, starting a business. You made a mistake, detaching yourself from that toxic man or toxic relationship. If they're trying to convince you that all the good things that you're doing is somehow a negative, do they really support you? And this is where a lot of these fake sisterhoods come in. with a lot of the jealous, envious women who have friendships with these women who really are not their friends. They're the most unsupportive people in their corner. But because a lot of women were not taught that love is action, that actions and words should match, at least some of the time, you will continue to be friends with people who serve as nothing more than a stumbling block in your way. You will continue to be friends with people who say they support you with their lips, but their actions show you otherwise. Like I mentioned in one of my videos I did recently about, and I don't watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I normally catch a lot of clips on TikTok or YouTube, but the situation between Portia and Shamia. Those of you who do watch the Real Housewives, I'm not judging you for it. Phyllis Carroll, welcome. I'm not judging you for it. You know, I like a lot of how they look, their style, their aesthetic. Yes. When I look at shows like that and clips for that, I'm looking at the hair, the nails, the way they carry themselves, the clothes. I'm looking at the aesthetic. I'm looking at the fashion. I like how they look. But the way they act, they do not represent what it really means to be real friends, real sisterhood, real bonds. That is not really the way it's supposed to be. And a lot of those women say they support one another, back to Shamia and Portia, but Portia has shown herself to not be a real good friend to Shamia. She is the perfect example of a woman who is very jealous and is hidden until you come into the forefront. Portia was so content with Shamia being that hidden gem, that woman that nobody really knows anything about. Like, Portia knows that she's that girl. She knows that she has a lot of status according to how they see it. She has a lot of status, beauty, house. She is the representative of that franchise. And I know for a fact that Portia was more comfortable with her in the background, because the moment Shamia came to the forefront, and number one, she's likable. I gave up on reality TV shows a while ago. Portia and Shamia were supposed to be best friends back in the day. Absolutely. I think they actually came up together, like be it in middle school, high school, and all of that. But what happened is that now everybody's taking a liking to Shamia. And even though she's doing a lot of things, putting out tapes and all that, now all of a sudden, Portia has an issue with her. And Portia, in my opinion, and I'm not going to make this about the Real Housewives, these two women are just really good examples of how friendships can break down when a woman is jealous of another woman. Portia, number one, she is not to be trusted, in my opinion. You don't want to deal with a woman who has no problem being with other people's husbands. I'm not going to say that she stole somebody else's husband, because nobody can be stolen. They walk away. But that kind of woman is not somebody you really want to be friends with. But I bring up that point. To say that a lot of women, they're perfectly fine with you as long as you are not doing anything that draws attention to you. And this is even in families. You have some families, they're perfectly fine with you being the quiet cousin, the quiet auntie, whomever, as long as you never do or say anything that brings too much attention to yourself. The moment you start doing that, it's like they don't want to be bothered. Envy, absolutely, Christina Wisdom. Many shades of beauty, all facts, absolutely. It's like they just want you to quietly exist in the background. And, you know, and the thing about it, what people don't understand, especially people who get jealous of other people, jealous women, a lot of times if you get attention from other people, it's because you're being authentic to who you are as a woman, as a person. You're not doing anything like you're trying to get somebody else's attention. And that's the one thing that a lot of people who are jealous and insecure and they take that out on other people, they don't understand. You're not doing anything oftentimes to try to get somebody's attention. You just do. It's because of your character and the way you conduct yourself. It's especially sad when it happens in families. Oh yes, and it happens in families all the time, unfortunately, because you have a lot of family members, like I said, they're so used to people being one way. Especially if you were around somebody as a child and you grew up to become an adult, they sometimes can't handle the woman you've become. They're used to you being that shy, quiet little girl that really never said anything. Maybe you let your cousins bully you. Maybe you let, people talk to you however they wanted to because you were a child, you were a teenager. You didn't really think about those kind of things. You really didn't know your value. You know what I mean? You didn't really understand those things. Yes, or the copycat and dealing with it at work. And a cousin that I love but keeps jacking my sands way of moving. Miss Wit 205, welcome. Hi, love your channel. I've learned so much how to deal with conflict. Wonderful. Yes, they switch up when I grew up. Absolutely. It's like some people want you to be quiet, shy, and timid in order for them to feel comfortable with you. And those of us, my mom is a narcissist. She picks me every day. I'm guessing you're saying she picks on me every day. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, a lot of mothers, and speaking as a black woman, I can speak to this. A lot of mothers, especially black women in the black community, can be very abrasive. Love you, Queen. Coco, welcome. Love you, Queen. This is my life. People telling me to stop posting all that positivity and relationships on social media. Yeah, people like that, I don't understand. They say things like, oh, what are you like, the church now? Or what are you like, you miss positivity? I thank you so much. I've dimmed my light so much. The divine said no more. Absolutely. Even, and it's not like, again, people would just hate me for sitting and minding my business. Like I said earlier, lovely doll, you have no control over how people, if they like you, dislike you, you're not looking for anybody's validation. None of this stuff matters. It really doesn't matter. This is just something that all women kind of go through. And I think a lot of women are afraid to talk about these topics because we have been taught, don't worry about that. Just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. And it's not a matter of worrying about it. You have to be able to feel comfortable enough talking about things that are bothering you. And some of us have been taught as women that we're supposed to just, let things roll off of us, just kind of hold it all in. And you know what happens when you do that, when you don't release that? The way I see it, you give it to God. But it's okay talking to other people who understand. Because when you hold it all in, that's when that anxiety, that mental illness, all these different things come in because you're sitting around thinking there's something wrong with you when in actuality, you've just been dealing with a lot of toxic people your entire life and you need to remove them. You need to remove yourself. I agree, holding it in can lead to health problems. Absolutely. And if somebody is trying to tell you that dealing with toxic behavior is normal, it's normal in the world that people are going to be toxic. Yes, that's normal. We live in a fallen world. My mom says, let it go. Every time I try to talk to her about something, let it go. Yes, a lot of, especially the older generation, not all of the older generation, respect for the older generation, but some of the older generation, they was self-medicating with alcohol and substances. So it was easy for them to say, just let things go. But as we got into this new era of being and we care about our mental health, we know that just letting go, giving it to God, casting your care, that's what I do. But if I need to talk and I feel like I have somebody in my corner that I can talk to, I will do that. I created this community so that women will know they're not alone in the things that women go through. These common struggles that a lot of women don't feel comfortable talking about because they're afraid that people are going to say, oh, you're worrying about this. Oh, you're worrying about that. It's not about that. It's about knowing that you're not alone. It's about knowing that the things that you go through are not just you. There are other women who have dealt with this and they understand. When you know that, it makes you feel more comfortable knowing that, you know what, okay, I'm not worrying about this. I know what's going on now. I see why people are coming at me. I see why people act jealous. I see why people act the way they do sometimes. And now I know how to act. I've learned a lot in the caterpillar stage. Exactly. Let go. That toxic mother. Yeah. Anytime people, it's easy for people who are doing the toxic behavior to tell you to let things go. And of course, over time, for your own benefit, you do have to let things go. You have to move on, forgive, those kind of things. But when people just dismiss and say, let it go, sometimes, depending on who it is, you have to let them go. If it's like that, every time you try to bring up something, you have to let them go. Imagine being by your mother's dad and as an adult, you're told you're being negative. Yeah, those kind of things I will never understand. My mom insults everybody else, but if you see anything about her, she has a fit. Yeah, some people, they're very unaware. And Tanae, I'm doing fabulous. How are you? Yeah, some people are very unaware. And the wonderful thing about being an adult, you don't have to be so close to your parents, to your family. I know people say blood is thicker than water, but the way I believe, spirit is thicker than blood. And if my blood aggravates my spirit, then I have to, dismiss you or put distance between us, because I can't deal with toxicity and negativity on a continuous basis. That's not peace. God wants me to have a peaceful life. How can I live at peace when I'm constantly entertaining people who mean nothing but, want nothing but negativity for me? And if you're not careful, you will think that you're being a good spiritual woman by allowing people to dump all their negativity on you. That's not what we're supposed to do at all. But when people want to break you, they want you to think all these things are normal. Absolutely not. There were a lot of things that I thought was normal until I actually got married and realized, wow, there are people who don't constantly yell, fuss, fight, argue, drink themselves into exhaustion. There are people who actually enjoy their family. I remember when we went to my husband's friend's house, and they were all, this is a black family, and they were all sitting around. It's like a Friday night, and they were playing board games, drinking regular drinks, and just enjoying each other's company. And I walked in like, black people do these kind of things? Like, black people sit around and they're not cussing, arguing, fussing, fighting. They're playing a board game. God forgive me, but in my mind, I was like, this is corny. This is boring. Because I was used to being around people who, it's Friday night. They got drinks, and somebody at the end of the night, everybody's cussing, fussing, and fighting. Thought that was normal. It wasn't normal for me. I didn't like it, but I thought it was normal to see that kind of interaction. And then when you get around people who are not acting that way, you change your surrounding, you realize like, oh, this is not normal. Royalty, LOL, right? Like, yes, some women, they miss out on like good relationships because they're used to toxicity. They're used to dealing with men who put them through the ringer, used to dealing with men who, out in the streets, you got a man that actually is texting you, I'm on my way home. And it's like, you'll actually look at that and say, why is he texting me? I'm not his mom. Why you keep texting me, telling me where you are? But then you'll have a man that doesn't tell you anything and comes in the house 3-4 o'clock in the morning and you're upset. But then you have the dude that's actually telling you, I'm on my way home, I'm about to go here. He's letting you know. It took me a moment to get used to that, because I'm like, why do you need to tell me these things? And you know what it is? It's respect. All things that we didn't realize was normal. Used to high school. It's how families are supposed to be. Absolutely. How do you deal with monitoring spirits, strangers? A lot of your comments went away very fast. Thank you for the live today. Good afternoon, Nix. Welcome. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome. I'm going to start going live a lot more often because I just feel like it's necessary. And I thank you all for being here. But yes, a lot of us have been programmed to think that a lot of toxic behaviors are normal. And it's all because I truly believe there are some people in our lives who wanted to break us. I had people in my own family try to tell me certain things are normal. That's just them. That's just how they are. Well, that's how they are, but I don't have to deal with it. How about that? You know what I mean? Are there any specific things you want? Any specific questions you have? Any specific questions you have in regards to anything specific? The last video I just made was pretty long, 47 minutes. This is like therapy for me, totally. You can relate to everything. I can relate to everything you say. I am so glad this is helping you. I'm so glad this is helping you. And yes, I really started this channel because I want to see women not be so bogged down by people who are jealous and envious. And when you recognize it for what it is, you recognize it and you say, okay, I can still be confident anyway. How to stay strong dealing with jealous neighbors. Jealous neighbors. So when neighbors are jealous of you, I don't know how to answer that. And the reason being is because I'm kind of like the neighbor that's like, how you doing? But I don't have those close interactions. Like, I'm not at their barbecue and they're not at my barbecue. It's one of those things like they see my comings and goings, I see theirs. But what's going on? I'm in the process of moving. Like, what are your neighbors doing that have you thinking they're jealous? Like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm such of a kind of a private person where I don't really have a lot of interaction with my neighbors. They know of me and my family from seeing us coming and going. They know enough to know, and I know enough about them to know if I don't see them for a few days to maybe knock on the door, make sure everything's okay, and vice versa. but we don't have that kind of like interaction where we're like intermingled in our lives. Like, I just don't do that. I'm more of a private person in that regard. They mess with my car. Someone likes me and she's mad. She likes him. Oh, that kind of thing. I'm glad that I came across your channel. I've learned so much. Mega Just Me '09. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. My neighbor installed cameras. What is going on with these neighbors? When we got this house, I made sure that we had a wall. Like, we don't have a wall. Like, I didn't want a row house. I wanted our house to be detached. I feel like I don't want to still be able to hear somebody else's issues if we're going to, have a mortgage and all that stuff. Like, no. So the things going on with the neighbors, I really don't understand that. Do you live in a close-knit neighborhood? Like, I live in a city. Like, I don't understand why y'all are that close. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I wish I could answer you better, but I don't understand the whole neighbor thing, because I just say, hey, how you doing? And go in the house. So I really don't understand that. But yes. Nosy neighbors. That's one thing. Like, from all the years of living in apartments, I'm just like, I don't have time to be in that close proximity with everybody else. Like, I don't feel like all that. It's too close. Can't wait to move. Yes, you probably want to move soon, as soon as possible. Because if you two are liking the same guy and all that, y'all are too close. In my opinion, like, that would be too close for me. If it's the same guy, the issue, I just can't. Yes, I'm done. I would be too. But yeah, this is just, I don't know. People, the original point of everything, when they try to break you, because I know you saw a part of the video. Like I said, I did a video, my last video was longer, and it was kind of in regards to leveling up, because jealous people really don't understand what it is to level up. And the lady said something to the effect of, how can you talk about leveling up when you're on here looking like this, or you're looking average or basic or something like that? And I'm like, my goodness, the hatred for no reason. I don't understand. And you remember my question, taking care of a jealous mom from a distance. I've been hiding my accomplishments, but now she sees. Okay, yes, I'm going to answer your question. Taking care of a jealous mom from a distance. So you're doing the right thing. Thank you so much, Royalty. You're doing the right thing by taking care of your mom from a distance. My father, he lives in a different state from me. And as he turned on one anything, absolutely. He lives in a different state from me. And I still look out from him even though I'm not right around him. I can't be right underneath my dad. I can't be around him all the time. We just clash in that way. It would make me irritated. We would argue. I just can't do that. But from a distance, I call him. If he needs something, I send it to him, through the mail or Amazon, those kind of things. So I still look out for my dad and honor my dad in that way, even though I'm not right there. We might talk to each other every couple weeks or so, and it's a short conversation for the most part, and that works for me. Now, if your mother, you said she sees what you're doing now, she sees your accomplishments, some of you, and I say this with love, you're going to have to be in that queen energy to say, okay, she sees what I'm doing, so what? It's like, so? Okay, she sees what you're doing. She sees what you're accomplishing. So what? What does that matter if she sees? Like, why does it matter to you if she sees what you're accomplishing? What can she do other than run her mouth? Because that's what a lot of haters do. When they see you accomplishing things and they feel some kind of way about it, all they can do is run their mouth. So what? Like, what are you supposed to do about that? What are we supposed to do about that? Stop? There's nothing you can do. They just talk. That's what haters do. They gossip and they talk about people who are doing better than them. They gossip and talk about people who are being a way that they never thought they could be, and now they are. They feel some kind of way. There's nothing you can do. Some of these questions that you all ask me, like, now she sees what I'm doing, what should I do? Keep doing you. Like, I don't know what else to say. Keep doing you. You don't stop what you're doing because somebody else sees. So what? What are you going to do? Live your life in private? Live your life not private, but secretly? Like, okay, I don't want nobody to know. Especially if you're a woman in business and you're going to be making money, people are going to see what you're doing. Your haters, your supporters, everybody's going to see what you're doing. And there's nothing you can do about that. I'm on YouTube right now. I know I have some people probably sitting back looking like, I know that, but I have to do what I have to do. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm not going to let that stop me. Like, for what? I know there's some people probably looking at this channel thinking she has no right to talk about these things. She don't even have lip fillers. She don't even wear enough makeup. She don't even have all this. I'm still doing me. It's like that's the answer. Keep doing you. Now they know what you're doing. Keep doing you. Nora H, I'm not wasting any more time on these low vibe people. I'm so over it. Absolutely. Like, why would you? Like, I think a lot of women, when you get into that queen feminine energy, when you get into that confident way of being as a woman, you little by little begin to care less about what other people think about what you're doing. I'm not saying that you operate in a way where you're hurting people, where you're doing things that are going to hurt yourself. But, Kay, that's my exact experience as well. Yeah, it's like I'm not saying that you don't care. Authenticity is key. Absolutely. Like, don't do things that are going to hurt yourself, hurt other people. Yeah, that goes without saying. I mean, if you're a woman, let's say the bare basics. You're working a job. You're trying to level up in your job. You want to get a promotion and you're climbing the corporate ladder if that's your thing. And you bought a house, you bought a car. You know, you have a good relationship. Your kids are fed and well and taken care of. If you're leveling up in that way, what are you going to do? Stop doing that because people are, irritated by the fact that you got a better job, that you live in a nicer neighborhood, that your kids are looking good and doing things? What are you going to do? So they see. So what? Think about your agenda. Think about your motivation for why you're doing what you're doing. Every time I get on YouTube, I have to remind, not every time, but there are times I have to remind myself, like, okay, people aren't watching you for certain things. Like, I never said I was a fashionista. I never said that I'm any of those things. People are not watching me for that per se. I get some of you all's beautiful compliments about my hair, about my looks, and I appreciate that. And I thank you so much. But I have to remind myself, people are not watching you for that. They're watching you for the value that you add. And haters, when people are trying to break you, they normally do it to people who are adding something more than just fluff. If you are a woman, and I'm not talking about, you don't have to be in business, you don't have to be on YouTube, you don't have to be doing any of those kind of things. You could just be that girl in your neighborhood. And if you are a really good mom, if you're a really good wife, if you're a really good daughter, if you're doing things that make other people smile, like they don't run from you when they see you coming, they smile when they see you coming. I block them out and focus on myself. That's how I keep winning without overworking myself. Absolutely. Focus on yourself. For me, focus on God first. But in doing that, you're going to be focusing on yourself and those things that are productive for you. Not on haters, not on jealous people, not what they think or feel. I don't care about other people's feelings. And I know that might sound bad. But when it comes to people who try to block me from doing the things that I know are working for me and that are good for me or that are in alignment with the things that I want to accomplish, I don't care about anybody's feelings. And when you get to that point as a woman, certain people, yeah, care about their feelings. But jealous people, haters, people who try to get in your way and try to break you, you cannot care about how they feel about what you're doing. That's when you say, I don't care about feelings. As feminine women, yes, we have those ooey gooey feelings. We're in that feminine energy, all of that. But when it comes to accomplishing the things that you want to do and living your life, not in a sinful way, I have to say that because of how I believe, not in a hurtful or harmful way, but when you're doing things that are productive, you're doing what you know to do. You can't let people and their little negativity stop you. And that's when you say, I don't care about your feelings. Think about it. Who really cares about your feelings? People who are jealous and negative and hating on you, do you think they care about how you feel about things? Yes, God first for sure. He guides me on what to focus on and never involves haters. Absolutely. That's the way I see it, Nora H. God never tells me to focus on my haters, focus on how they see me, how they feel about me, how people who don't help me no way care about me. That's not something that I feel like that should be my focus. So when you all ask these things, hi, I'm new here. Welcome. Barichi, I don't found where I put you, my finger getting you a like. Oh, you don't know where to hit the like button. I'm not quite sure why that is because the like button should be up there. Run to God. Absolutely. Run to God and not your haters. Absolutely. But there are some people, as I was saying, People who want to break you, do you think they care about how you feel? No. People who always have something negative to say about every positive thing you're doing, do you think they care about how you feel? Absolutely, they do not. So why would you? It's looking for that validation. And as wise, confident women, we're not looking for outside validation from anybody. As long as I know, the way I could say for myself, as long as I know I have approval from God and my husband, he's okay with me. For the most part, that's pretty much the only two that I really care about. You have to have that mindset that you don't need that outside validation. And some women, I have to say this, and I say it with love, a little too needy for other people's approval. Like, why do you care so much what other people think about you? If you are on the Android, the thumbs up. It's crazy while they're watching us. Exactly. This lady, and sometimes you feel like you have time, but I just was like, the immature side of my brain was like, sis, you got time today. Type in that message. And then the other part of me was like, no, she's on the internet watching you. Just delete it and remove it. So that's what I did. The queen side of my brain had to say, just delete that comment and move on. But the immature side of me was like, you on the internet watching me, sis. Like, you on here watching me. Like, but it's like, no. You have to build your inner self up. Absolutely. When you spend time building your inner self up, your spirit up, then you are less affected by how people see you or what they think about you. Now, I'm not saying you don't want people to see you in a good light. I mean, if you're a woman that carries yourself in the right way as a woman, if you carry yourself as a woman in the right way, people are going to like you. The right people are going to like you. They're going to want to be around you. You're going to be able to influence and encourage them, and they'll influence and encourage you. But what you don't want is to try to appeal to haters, to people who don't mean you any good anyway. Why would you spend your life, spend your time trying to appeal to people who don't even like you? Trying to, manipulate and curate your personality, your traits to people who seek to manipulate and take advantage of you. People who want to bully you. Because some people, some women, they only want to be friends with women they can bully. They want to be friends or be close family with women who they can somehow, sister girl and sidekick them. People have no fear of God nowadays. God's watching them and laughing at them. Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly, which is another reason why I don't worry about these things, because God will deal with everybody. God will fight my battles. That's the way I see it. I've been lied on so much that I had no choice but to focus on myself and discover who I am. And you do that. I'm not perfect, but I'm imperfectly perfect. I'm perfectly me. Absolutely lovely doll. Yeah, and that's a part of the reason. Absolutely, God fights my battles. And everybody who if there's any issue or anything like that, I don't worry about those things. If you feel like you need to address something or you're trying to, keep a relationship going, you do that. But by no means do we pander to other people and try to get people to see, I'm a good person, I'm this, I'm that, look at me, like I'm trying to make you see. I'm not trying to make you see nothing. If you don't see who I am and what I offer, then bye. That's literally the way I see it. Period. On period, as they say. The right people. Ooh, that ice came around. That was ice. Absolutely not. The wrong people, they will disappear. The right people, they will be around. Pandering to no haters or people who are jealous and don't like you no way. You're trying to get them to understand. For what? They will never understand. There are some people who don't like you and they get a kick out of misunderstanding you. They seek to be offended. They not like us. Absolutely royalty. Absolutely not. And when we say things like this, there are some people who say, well, who do you think you are? You're being conceited. You're being cocky. You're being this. You're being that. The only people who want you to believe that somehow not taking other people's mess is somehow conceited or cocky, those are the very people who seek to manipulate you. The people who want you to think that your wisdom and your discernment and your lack of tolerating nonsense is somehow prideful, conceited, cocky, arrogant, all these other things. There's nothing arrogant, cocky, or prideful about not letting the people take advantage of you, of not letting people try to break you. Because if you're not strong enough mentally and spiritually, they will break you down. And that is what they want. And we can't give them that. And we on this side of the internet, here at All Things Woman, we understand that it takes a lot more than aesthetics to operate this way. Once you understand from a mental, spiritual, psychological standpoint of how people are and how to operate when people come at you, that's when you get unbothered enough to start focusing on the things like your aesthetics and how you look and your health and your beauty. See, once you get an understanding of how people, the people who are coming at you and how they're trying to break you and how women try to bully and humiliate other women, and you see that they can't succeed against you because you're aware of it, that's when you get unbothered. But some women are trying to be fake unbothered while still carrying the weight of other people's opinions and trying to get other people's validation. They're still carrying all of that on their shoulders, but saying they're unbothered. It's not so. That's why you have a lot of women who can't even crack a smile for their life. They can't give another woman a compliment. They can't even sit around other women and feel comfortable because they're so pent up with jealousy and insecurity. But they say they're unbothered, blessed and highly favored, but a hater. Those two don't go together. There's a contrast battle between light and darkness. What side would you rather be on? Absolutely be blessed, Israel. Absolutely. So it's like once you do the inner work and you recognize these different things, you actually have light. A lot of people have that phrase woke. To be really woke is to really know what's going on in the world and to not allow yourself to be caught up in these traps of jealousy, envy, and other toxic behaviors that other people put on you. Not allow yourself to be so gullible to fall into these things or be around people who try to deceive you into thinking they're for you when they're actually against you. That's being woke. When you get that knowledge, when you actually have the light, you see the light, you're really woke, that's when you can become unbothered because it's like, okay, it's not me. I see exactly what's going on. I'm not perfect, but I don't think I did anything here. She's just a hater. I'm being perfectly nice and they're treating me badly. That's not a me situation. That's them. That's when you can get unbothered. And now it's like, you know what? I'm focusing on my aesthetic, how I look. I'm going to go get my hair done. You start leveling up in that way because now your focus has shifted. Like, okay, spiritually, for me, God fights my battles. I see what people tried to do, didn't succeed. God fights my battles. So I'm going to get my nails done, which I will be doing that very soon because I am overdue for a refill. I haven't gotten there because I don't feel like sitting in a nail salon. I just haven't felt like going lately. But I'll probably go tomorrow or the next day. I don't feel like sitting there and making a little small chit chat. It's been so rainy and dark in my city. So I just haven't gotten there because I haven't felt like going. But I'm going. But yes, the first step to getting unbothered is to recognize what people are doing and say, hey, you know what? This is not my issue. God fights my battles the way I see it. God in your life is the center, is the focus. Morality, at least. Having a spiritual bent, at least. But yeah, that's when you can truly be unbothered. That's when all that other stuff matters. That's when you put on your, you have your hair done, nails done, everything did, nice outfits. That's when your true authenticity and your unbotheredness kind of radiates. Because now you're truly unbothered. Now your focus has truly shifted onto things that matter. Now it's like, okay, I'm focusing on, I think I'll go back to school. I'm not saying going back to school is the answer. Us as black women, we tend to run to school. But if that's your thing, do that. Nothing wrong with education. But now your focus has shifted where it's like, you know what? I want to go back to school. Or I'm going to start a business. Or you know what? I'm not going to work as much. I'm going to work part-time. And I'm going to start resting in my feminine energy a lot more. I'm going to start leaning into my feminine softness more because I realize worrying about them for so many years has really caused me to be a lot more rough than I would like to be as a woman. So now I'm taking this time to focus on myself because now I'm unbothered, because I have detached and dismissed those toxic people from my life. I recognize how the enemy is using them, and I'm not falling for it. When you get to that point, that's when you're unbothered. You start dilly-dallying, as they say. I love that saying, dilly-dallying. I saw that over on TikTok. This spring, this summer, I want to do a lot more dilly-dallying. I want to get back to the beach more often. I want to, go into the stores and get little things. Go to the malls. I haven't been to the mall as much as I should have this year as of yet. Blessings to you. Yes, blessings, Stacy Cruz. Blessings to you as well. Welcome. Yes, that's when you get into the mode where you're dilly-dallying, you're looking for cute little things, that's when, and you can tell when you become unbothered, because now you're going to have some of your little friends and family members saying, Dag, every time I turn around, you just getting little stuff. And you always at the mall. You always at the nail salon. They act like you're being lazy. As a woman, when people start thinking that you're lazy and you're not accomplishing anything, you are officially in your soft girl era. I had to say that. And being soft is not an era. That's just us as a woman. Self-care, yes, ma'am. Love on yourself. Absolutely. There is no soft girl era. It's just being in your feminine softness. And being in your feminine softness can look different for all women. It's not the same for every woman. Some women, we go to the spas, you do all those different things. Some women, it's simply not overworking yourself. It's simply going to sleep when you need to sleep. It's simply taking time, something I'm actively working on, meal prepping. Because I was in a situation the other day where I had to order fast food because I forgot to meal prep enough for the rest of the week. I have been eating a lot more cleaner as of late because I had a reflux attack. Oh my goodness. If you have reflux and you have a reflux attack, it is no fun at all. It's like you have to detox and reset your entire digestive system. So that's what I'm currently doing. That's why I have 3 different drinks here. I have water, I have my iced Arizona green tea, and I have my hot tea. I normally drink 2 to 3 things at once anyway, but yes, I love the soft girl mode. Absolutely. It's that's when you start shifting your focus onto, I'm spending time with God more. I'm focusing on my health more. I'm going to dilly-dally. I'm going to take a walk around the park. I'm going to reach out to people I actually like and like me. I used to go to the mall every weekend, and then life happened. My son gets the rest. I love fragrances. That's my happy place. Yes, I love fragrances. I love going to Sephora, Nordstrom's, looking at their fragrances. Bath and Body Works. I haven't been to Bath and Body Works since December, which is very weird. I'm like, how is that? I might go to Bath and Body Works tomorrow, just to get some things, I need to go shopping. I went shopping for some dresses, but see, I'm at a balance here. So when you're more of a curvy girl and you're trying to be somewhat modest, you can buy dresses that look modest on the hanger, but then when you put them on, it's you look like some kind of pinup girl. And I'm not going for that look outside of the house. $6 body care at Bath and Body Works. I saw that, Nyx. I saw that. They have a sale on now. Thank you. Yeah, I saw that. I'll probably order something, but there's a Bath and Body Works close to me. So I will probably go there maybe even later today. So I have to get there. But yes, I'm healing my inner child. I think she's proud. Absolutely. I love that for you. I love that. As women, yes, when you get unbothered because you recognize these things, because you watch my videos and we talk about these things on average, on a regular basis, when you come across it out in the world, it's it tickles you so, you just giggle and say, you know what, my coworkers, they don't know no better. And it's almost like you get that kind of not pity, but pity, where it's you know what, they don't know no better. They just doing what comes natural. Long as they keep it over there, don't come at me, but keep it over there. But, thanks, we'll check that out at Nyx. But yes, being unbothered and leveling up, it's mentally, it's spiritually, it's physically. Don't get me wrong. I love the looks, elevating your looks and all that. I love that kind of stuff. But it just doesn't start there. And I love candles too. Mega Just Me 09. Absolutely. I think you probably seen a lot of my videos where I showed you my candles. That's another thing I haven't gotten in a while. My goodness, I think it's because my children, they're about to graduate soon. Got prom coming up, all these different things. I've been filling out paperwork for them and doing all this different stuff. I've been in like, I'm always in mom mode, but I've been in heavy mom mode because it's the end of the school year. So I just really haven't been focusing on my little girly things as of lately, in addition to having the reflux attack. So, but it's time to get back to dilly-dallying. You're my sister in my head. I really appreciate you. All Made Honey, that is so sweet. And Made Honey, you are my sister too. I love honey. So there's a reason we have that connection there. I believe that. Yes, but unbotheredness, oh, it starts from, as I was saying, you see these videos on a regular basis. We talk about these kind of things. It's no longer like taboo. Like we're not sweeping these things under the rug. Because a lot of things I talk about are things that women have been taught to sweep under the rug or act like they don't exist, or that girl ain't thinking about you like that. Meanwhile, you're having a whole mental breakdown in your head trying to figure out if they're thinking about you like that. And then when you watch videos like mine's, I would say that you're aware that some women are like that, but it doesn't matter. You know what the traits are. You know what the signs of jealousy, signs of envy are. You know all of that. But it doesn't matter anymore. Awesome job, Mama Bear. Yes, please take time for you too. Thank you so much, Royalty. Yes, somewhere along the lines, like every time I turn around, my daughter's coming home with another slip, another permission slip for this, for that, emailing me. My daughter, she thought that she wasn't graduating because they have a senior assignment they had to complete. So my daughter doing like what she does, looking at paper she has no business looking at, saw her name, but it meant that she had to turn in an assignment. It was like, see if she got accepted to one college or something for her to be on that list, which she is, because she got accepted into two colleges. And she was panicking about that. So one day I had to run up to the school and see what's going on. And it was nothing. Me being mom just took my daughter's word for it and just ran up there. But yeah, I've been in heavy mom mode lately. My son, making sure everything's okay with him because he's going to be working, hopefully, after graduation. He already got a job opportunity. So a lot happening. So I'm just really thankful, but been a little bit tiring too. I'm not even gonna lie. Been a little bit tiring too. But yes, people who want to break you will never succeed. And when you get to that unbothered state of being, it's only up from there, as they say. So it is going on 12:30. I'm going to wrap this up. Like this live, share this live stream. If you have not gotten the books, How to Be a Feminine Woman, the Blueprint, that is on Amazon. Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women. And then also How to Detox from Toxic People. I also have a daily affirmations journal and a femininity journal too. I will link that in the description box of this live chat. We have All Things Women merch as well. I thank you for all of your cash apps. You send me cash apps, and I appreciate that. I actually had a woman in that comment. She tried to say, oh, you talking about leveling up when you put your cash app up. Every YouTuber I see has their cash up. And there's nothing wrong with that. If people want to support you or support the channel, why not? You see, and this is a little sidebar for me ending this. When people hate on you, they try to stop everything. Your money, your influence, everything. They just want to stop everything. I appreciate your cash apps and how you support this channel and your kind comments. And most importantly, I like the fact that you are sharing this content because other women can come to this channel and realize there's not a bunch of fluff just on the internet. There's people actually teaching you things that are going to help you all the way around. I'm not saying I'm the only one who's doing it, but I am glad to be a part of it. So I appreciate you all. I'm going to wrap up this live. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do some dilly-dallying. Stay unbothered. And don't let people break you, even when they try. All right? Like and subscribe if you are not a subscriber. Bye, Leroy. Leroy, Sassy Leroy, if you're still here. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us here at All Things Woman. My first time on the site. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. Royalty, thank you for being here. Thank you so very much. Yes, everybody say bye to Leroy. I don't know if he's still here. Bye. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.